All right, I see the Zoom room is filling up. You are here for Football Letter Live. We will be getting started in just a minute. We're going to let everybody come on into the Zoom room and join us on Facebook Live. As always, go ahead and tell us who you are and where you're from in the chat box right there on the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you have a question for John Black or any of our guests tonight, you can put that in the Q&A box right there, also on the bottom of your Zoom panel. We will be getting started in just 1 minute. All right, the Aiken-Augusta chapter is represented tonight. Lynn Yingling back again from State College, Pennsylvania. Russ from Syracuse, New York, up there. John Johnson tuning in. Barry from Cincinnati. I see Charlene in Bellefonte.
Naples.
Tanya Seifert from Springfield, Virginia. Neil Baiji down in Naples. Welcome in. We will be getting started in just a minute. A lot of chapter leaders represented tonight. I see Judy Wolf from Orange County.
Roger Williams.
Roger Williams, Collegeville. Boca Raton represented tonight. Low Country, South Carolina. There's Katie Jones. Welcome, Katie. I see Patty Shaner from the Schuylkill campus. The Skooks are represented. Jack Wirt, class of 61.
Yeah, fraternity brother.
All right.
From Shenango.
Where else would you rather be than a Zoom full of Penn Staters? I'm Paul Clifford, CEO of the Penn State Alumni Association. Welcome to Football Letter Live. For more than 80 years, the Penn State Alumni Association has covered the football team with its one-of-a-kind perspective through the football letter. Now the historic publication begins a new era with the launching of Football Letter Live, this virtual show, which will air every Thursday at 8 o'clock this fall. This online expansion is to help fill the void without fall sports and to rally alumni and fans around Penn State's Intercollegiate Athletics. From now until early November, we'll be airing again at 8 o'clock Thursday nights. This session is being live, closed captioned, and they are available all throughout this event. You can activate your closed captioning by clicking on the closed captioning tab in the bottom of your screen and clicking on Show Subtitles. You can also customize your caption view by clicking the stream text link, which is posted in the chat. As a reminder, we are recording this session and we will be sharing it across all of our social media channels afterward. Tonight, I'm joined by legendary editor of the Football Letter, John Black from the class of 62. And in a few moments, we're going to welcome tonight's guests as we highlight the power of our affiliate group network and showcasing how volunteer leaders unite Penn Staters around the world. To get more information about our groups, you can visit our website at alumni.psu.edu/groups. Again, we're encouraging you to share questions for our hosts and guests tonight. You can do that in the Q&A function at the bottom of your Zoom bar. Or if you're on Facebook Live, go ahead and drop your comments right there in the comment box. So John, big day in sports news. Tight end Pat Freiermuth has reportedly opted out of his final season here at Penn State, and he will be entering the NFL draft. So it's sad to see Pat go. I know he was excited to come back for another year. Wanted to just play another year of college football with his teammates and with his brothers, and unfortunately, he's going to forego that and enter the draft. Also, several Big 12 games have been postponed today because of COVID-19. I think that's a trend that we will continue to see in a lot of different places with the disease and how it's affecting areas of the country more than others. I think we'll start to see some games get scheduled and pushed back. I know for me, it was hard to see college football start last weekend. How about for you, John?
It was hard to see it start without Penn State. Yeah. Number 17, the number 7 team in the rankings by several polls with a great group of returning players that looked like a great season. So it will be very sad if we don't get a 2020 season before we're through the fall, winter, spring cycle.
Yeah, it certainly will be disappointing. And, it's not only affecting college football, right? I mean, it's affecting all the fall sports. And just today, they announced that we're actually going to be delaying the start of the hockey season as well. And so it's now starting to have an impact on some winter sports.
Yes, all of the Division I hockey leagues are delaying. That announcement was made today.
Absolutely. Hey, but speaking of winter sports, big news out of Penn State basketball as we welcome home the all-time leading scorer in Penn State basketball history. Taylor Battle will be joining the coaching staff as an assistant coach. Great to have Taylor back here in Happy Valley.
He's going to be a great addition to the staff, I'm sure.
Absolutely. After years of playing in Europe and around the world internationally, playing basketball and then coming back and starting his financial planning career back home in Albany, where he's originally from. He's now, again, lacing the shoes up, this time on the coaching staff. And so it'll be great to have Taylor back here in Happy Valley. Well, as many of you know, tonight is the start of the NFL football season, and we find that 40 Penn Staters found their spots on an NFL roster. And so while we're not playing college football this year, it'll be exciting to watch those former Nittany Lions who are now in the pros on NFL rosters. And it was good to see. I think we had six of our rookies make NFL teams. And so we're going to be well represented across the NFL this fall and winter, John.
We absolutely will, even including a former lacrosse player and a former basketball player.
That's right. I wonder if they're counted in the 40. I didn't look at the list, but
they are. They are, right.
That's fantastic. So, John, like I said, tonight we're talking to our affiliate group leaders. These are folks all around the country who give of their time and efforts back to Penn State as volunteers. They welcome the Nittany Lions when we go on the road. They cheer the Nittany Lions on from afar. And we're going to get to their stories in just a couple of minutes. But, John, you and I have the opportunity to travel to away games as part of what we do for Penn State. And when we go on the road, we are met by enthusiastic crowds of Penn Staters. I know you have been doing this for a lot longer than I have, but what I've been struck by when I go on the road with you, I know how important family is to you. And when we go to Michigan and Michigan State, that's almost a family trip for you.
Well, it has become that because our oldest daughter and our two oldest grandchildren live out in Michigan, just about 20 minutes from Ann Arbor. So when we travel, Vita K comes out as well and spends the weekend with our daughter and her family. And I get to sneak in a little bit of time with them before the game takes off. So it's a nice opportunity to catch up with the only family we have that lives outside of Pennsylvania. But it's great to see the crowds that we draw in every Big Ten venue that we go to, and the great work done by the chapter leaders in those areas in putting on events for local alumni, local Penn Staters. And sometimes we've got a traveling contingent as well from back home that joins in with the festivities put on by the chapters. And then, of course, the chapters join in with us on the pregame functions at the stadium on Saturdays.
Absolutely. You're right. Wherever the Nittany Lions play, it's not just folks from State College and folks from the local area where we're playing that converge and come out and cheer on the Nittany Lions, but it's almost like people from all over the country converge on Chicago when we play Northwestern, or show up at Indiana, or show up on the road at Nebraska when we play there. I see Joan from California at places where I don't expect to see Joan from California show up. We see just so many fans converging to cheer on the Nittany Lions when they go on the road. And I know some of our fans actually have it as a goal where they kind of want to make it to every Big Ten city. And so each year that they and their friends will pick a new city to go to. I know for a lot of people, Nebraska was that city this year that a lot of Penn Staters wanted to go and check off their Big Ten bucket list. But unfortunately, we're going to have to wait another couple of years for that to happen. So why don't we go ahead right now and bring in our guests tonight, and let me introduce them to you. First, from Central Ohio, gosh, doing some great work out there in the backyard of the enemy in Columbus. We have Carl Roberts. Carl, welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Down in Nashville, Tennessee, with our Middle Tennessee chapter president. I think I'm looking at her ceiling right now. But Nicole Cantor is with us. Nicole, welcome. There she is. We have Jeremy Omard. Jeremy is from the AAAO of Washington, D.C. What's up, Jeremy?
Hey, Paul. Hey, John. Thanks for having me.
And the immediate past president of our Houston chapter and football letterman, our final guest on the show tonight, Anwar Phillips. Welcome, Anwar.
Thank you for having me, Paul and John, and glad everyone's out there to tune in.
Great to have you in the base of Penn State.
Let's get started. Carl, maybe share a little bit about how your chapter engages Penn Staters around Penn State football.
Absolutely. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Good evening, everybody. One of the big things that we actually enjoy quite a bit here in the heart of Buckeye Nation is bringing as much Penn State fever as we possibly can when Penn State comes to Columbus. We actually host a very large pep rally the night before the football game at one of our local eating establishments. Also has a tie to Pennsylvania. If you've ever been to Quaker State, you know what I'm talking about. So we actually have hundreds of people that show up. We have the Blue and the Lion comes. We have Penn Staters from all over the country that show up to our event and get a chance to kind of share and revel in the glory of the blue and the white. We do a silent auction for a lot of Penn State gear. Also, some of the other, the hockey team here donates a ton of stuff. We get a lot of businesses and folks that are actually, you can kind of see some of that there in the background. We have a lot of businesses that donate to us. This is a very lucrative event for us. On the years that Penn State plays at home against Ohio State, we're usually try to be there, but when we're here in Columbus, this is the place to be for sure. So if you get a chance to make it to Columbus, I highly encourage everybody to come out and check out the pep rally because it's a heck of a good time.
Hey, and Carl, you actually changed the name of the city when Penn State comes out there to play football, to play against the Buckeyes. And I got the key to that city the last time I was out there. I'm not sure if people can see this, but take my word, it is a large gold key. Tell folks what you changed the name to when the Nittany Lions come to town.
So we're all about the Paternoville, but yeah, Nittanyville, whatever. I mean, there's several names that are interchangeable that we kind of, jokingly try and get Columbus to rename itself while Penn State's in town. So, but I'm thrilled that you actually still have your key, Paul. You're welcome to bring that back anytime and unlock the hearts and minds of the Penn Staters.
How else would I get in if I didn't bring the key, Carl?
I'm sure you could probably make a phone call or two. We'll get you hooked up, buddy. No problem there.
That is great. Jeremy, down in D.C. Jeremy, talk a little bit about what the AAAO does around Penn State football.
Yes, so I think one of my favorite pastimes now with Maryland being in the Big Ten is whenever Penn State does play Maryland. In Maryland, one, we have a joke where instead of College Park, Maryland, it's University Park, Maryland, because there's more Penn Staters who show up to the games than Maryland alumni. But over the last couple of years, we've established our own tailgating section at Maryland, which is funny. And we also partnered with a lot of local bars within the DC area and a Black-owned business in National Harbor, Maryland, to host various watch parties. It was very interesting to partner with a lot of the Black-owned organizations, given that AAAO does focus on the African-American alumni within the DC area. It started off as us just going to a venue just as a social event. And then when the owner of the venue found out that we were Penn Staters, he automatically just flocked to us. We established a great relationship. And he really caters to the Penn State alumni in the DC area now. So we kind of established our own sanctuary within the state of Maryland.
That's wonderful. Now, Jeremy, AAAO, there is a DC chapter, but I know that you're connected to other AAAO chapters around the country. Go ahead and give them a shout out and tell folks where they can find other AAAO chapters.
Yeah, so whether you're in New York, Philly, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, we have a AAAO organization in most of the metropolitan hubs, and we're always open to establishing a AAAO in any city. So feel free to reach out to the Alumni Association. And if there isn't a AAAO in your city, we can make that happen.
Absolutely. Alumni.psu.edu is our web address, /groups. You can find all of our affiliate groups out there on our website. Nicole, down in Nashville, in Nash Vegas, you all know how to put on game watch parties for the Nittany Lions. Talk about how you turn Nashville into Beaver Stadium South.
We've been very fortunate to have venues work with us and allow us to basically take over their sound system. We have a honorary alumni and alumni by marriage, Melvin, and he sets up the soundboard, brings the computer, speakers, amps, and just creates this atmosphere that's so energetic. He plays blue band songs. You'll hear Zombie Nation. You've got the Lion Roar. He brings the cowbell frequently and just gets the crowd involved, gets them engaged. There's a lot of socialization. We have a lot of out-of-town visitors in Nashville, plus our loyal base of alumni here that just get really amped up, and Melvin brings it all home with those songs and keeping the crowd going.
Absolutely. Shout out to Melvin. Melvin's got a pretty interesting day job too. Maybe share a little bit about that.
He's a professional musician with a country singer. I don't know if I'm at liberty to say, but he tours with him, travels with him internationally, and volunteers his time on the weekends with us. And we are so thankful to have him and have him share his experience with us and really create the atmosphere of the stadium.
Absolutely. Well, hey, knowing what the atmosphere is actually like in the stadium, is a guy who played on the field in Beaver Stadium, Anwar Phillips. Anwar, after your playing days were over, you got involved with the Houston chapter. How do you all celebrate Penn State football in Houston?
So we do it in many different ways. We encourage a lot of our members to participate in our raffle. We have some fun prizes and a little bit of adult drinks as well. So we raffle off stickies. We're close enough to Louisiana, so we can tap into our Yuengling source. We all love some Yuengling. And then we control our sound in our space. And we just been fortunate enough to, we had the Super Bowl down there. So we had some of our fellow lettermen that was on the Houston Texans to come in. So we're blessed that no one's usually from Houston, but everyone comes there for work. So we get a lot of surprise known guests to come in and bless us with their presence. And that motivates a lot of people to pop in, because you never know who you're going to see when you come to a Houston watch party.
Absolutely. Now I say Anwar played football at Penn State. You also played a little bit of football after Penn State too. Had a career in the NFL, and successfully represented Penn State throughout your career. But I'm sure you ran into a lot of Penn Staters while you were playing in the league. We just mentioned 40 players on NFL rosters. What was it like when you were on the field and went up and were able to connect with guys you formerly played with?
It was weird, right? So I give you a small story. When we played the 49ers, me and Michael Robinson first year out, and we played them, and obviously we needed to win for the game, and we're on special team together. And I mean, his job was to come and get me, and it went less than 6 months ago. I would do anything for my quarterback to now my quarterback's doing anything to lay me out. So it was it was a self shocker, but Coach Paterno always made us professionals on and off the field. So you knew how to rev it up on the field and stick it to him a little bit and give him a little smirk. And then after the whistle's over, talk about it for another day. So it was extremely weird at first, but you're professionals. You got to do your job.
Well, you mentioned Joe Paterno. I'm going to come back to you in a couple minutes and ask you about what it was like to play for Joe Paterno, and maybe share a Joe Paterno story with us. And you're going to have to do your impersonation of him as well. So we'll come back to that. But Carl, let's go back to you and talk about, look, COVID-19 has had a huge impact on everything, right? On where we now work, right? On how we think about leaving our homes, on whether we're playing college football or not playing college football. And so what are the plans of your chapter to help keep Penn Staters engaged throughout the fall without Penn State football?
Well, that's a great question. And I'm sure we're suffering from a lot of the same sort of cabin fever that the rest of the nation is with the quarantine times. But one of the things that we're trying to do every year, or every month, I should say, is we do a virtual happy hour. We try and pick a different theme. We have some trivia nights. We have some other things that give everybody an opportunity to Zoom in. And fortunately, we've been lucky to be able to get a couple of other events up on our calendar. The closest one to us right now, Jay Paterno is going to join our Zoom room, and we're going to actually do a Q&A session with him on the 24th of September. So if you Google Eventbrite Jay Paterno, you can find out. It's a $5 donation that we're requesting. It all goes to Thon. But we're trying to do as much as we possibly can to get everybody, Zoom fluent and make sure that they have an opportunity to meet and chat with other Penn Staters. We've been really lucky on our virtual happy hours. We've got folks, calling in from, New Jersey. We had Michigan. We had some Southern California folks, our last one. So we're trying to do as much as we can, but nothing compares to, August used to be the month of painstaking anticipation for college football. And now it's August into September, and now we got a whole nother year we got to wait. So we're going to keep trying to be creative, keep trying to keep people engaged, and keep reaching out to our alumni. So drop in if you ever get a chance.
Absolutely. And a shout out to Jay Paterno. Jay, a member of the Board of Trustees now. He is just written a book, which is about to be published. I think it's actually published on the 21st of this month, if I'm not mistaken. It's a realistic fiction about the life of a college football coach. And so I think you're going to hear a lot more about Jay Paterno's new book that is on the market at the end of this month. Nicole, how are you all preparing for life without Penn State football? And what are you doing to keep people involved in Nashville?
We have really ramped up our social media. We have a great social media chair, Monica, who posts articles. She keeps us informed about events, virtual events coming up through the university, just engages our members and asks if they're doing okay. Please let us know if you were able to go anywhere, how your summer is going in Nashville. And honestly, just letting them know we're here. We're still, working for them, just waiting it out.
If you are tuned in, you are watching Football Letter Live, and in the chat box, you can find out more information about all of the chapters that we are featuring here tonight, all of the groups that we are featuring here tonight on Football Letter Live. All of those links are in the chat box, so if you want to check out what is going on with the AAA ODC or Houston or Central Ohio or Nashville, you could go on there. And as always, you can visit our website at alumni.psu.edu/groups for information about a chapter that might be in your area. So, Jeremy, let's turn to you and let's talk about maybe your favorite Penn State football memory. What is that moment that kind of stands out in your mind, and kind of where you were and who you were with?
So I think there's two memories that immediately come to mind. One was the last time we actually played Maryland, because I brought all my college and high school friends to just join me so they can understand how AAAO operates, how we throw events. But two, from the high school side, I wanted my high school friends to see like the power of Penn State football. So when Penn State came to College Park, their first thing was, is this what happens every weekend at Penn State? And I just laughed because I felt it was a more scaled down version of our tailgates, and they just had the time of their lives. So I think that was awesome to have my friends actually witness like Penn State football weekend. And then the next time that automatically comes to my mind is homecoming of 2014. So I graduated in 2013. So coming back to campus, seeing all my friends who were either doing advanced degrees or who were still at State College, it was just an awesome experience. We actually got to take pictures on the field before the game, which was awesome in itself. And it truly felt like homecoming. And I think because it was my first alumni homecoming, it really kind of hit home for me to just see like how loved the Penn State alumni truly are.
Excellent. All right, Almar, what was it like to play for Coach Paterno, and maybe share your favorite Coach Paterno story?
I'll try not to take up too much people's time for having millions of stories, but I guess for me, it was powerful because when I was coming out of high school, it was, I just want to play for a Nike school and a school on TV. And Joe came down and he said, well, we're on TV all games, all 10 games at the time. Now they play 12. And that's what I originally signed up for, but knowing the man, understanding how much he fights for you to be a complete student athlete, not an athlete, understanding that he fought for Black athletes as a whole. Back then they said Black athletes were too dumb to come to a highly academic institution and learn and get a meaningful degree. I mean, we all know about the grand experiment. So, you know, I didn't sign up to hear all that, but when I got that, it was very encouraging. And I would say the most impactful for me, you know, and I might be dating myself here, Paul, but it would be that 2004 Indiana game. And, it meant a lot because you come in as a high-profile athlete. You know, you're going to keep the legacy of Penn State going on. And my freshman year, we go to the Capital One game, and we're number 4 in the country. I'm like, it's just going to skyrocket up. My sophomore year, we go the worst record in 150 years.
Yes.
And my junior year, we're the worst Penn State team in 151. But what makes that difference is that Indiana game, everyone, if y'all don't know, look it up, was the goal line stance. And they get the first down on basically the half-yard line, and everyone was like, same old song. We're going to just chalk it up and, you know, look forward to next year. And they actually end up losing a half a yard, Paul, and that sparked it from there. So ever since there, we haven't had a losing record from that point. And the Penn State tradition, it never died, but everyone was a believer on that mindset. So that stuck out to me because not only did we bring it back to notoriety, but you know, that was something special to experience that.
Boy, did you ever.
Something special for the whole team and the whole Nittany Lion fandom, I think, because that goal line stand there at Indiana in 2004 started that total turnaround, carrying forth into 2005 season when Michael Robinson and you guys led us on a fabulous season. We wound up number 3. We should have been number 1 if Michigan hadn't added 3 seconds to the clock at the end of our game out there in Ann Arbor. But that was that really got Penn State right back in the swing of things nationally and right back to the top of the heap, thanks to your team suffering through those difficult losing seasons before that. Paul, I'd like to throw just in one other thing here. We're hearing from all these local chapter and affiliate group leaders how they help bring Penn State to their area of the country and do such a great job of it. One story I have predates all of you people here, and it goes back to 1986, Penn State's second national championship year, when our undefeated team was playing down at Alabama. And our Alabama chapter, of course, is located in Birmingham, the largest city in Alabama, and just 60 miles away from Tuscaloosa, where the university is. And the chapter down there put on a great function for us. And they have their leader, Bill Leisinger, knew that the Attorney General of Alabama at that time was a Penn State alum. And Leisinger got him to arrange for us to have a 17-bus caravan on the morning of the game from Birmingham all the way down the interstate to Tuscaloosa, 60 miles, with a police escort leading us up down the interstate, passing all of these Alabama fans and cars with all the Penn State symbols on our buses, right into Tuscaloosa, right up to the stadium, drop people off right at the gate of the stadium so they could walk in, and none of the Alabama fans could understand how this Penn State contingent was making such a splash there. We went on, we won the game 23-3, and continued our undefeated season, of course, to our second national championship. So that was a great story about chapters and what they can do when the opportunity.
That's an amazing, amazing story, John. The Attorney General probably never got reelected after that.
I don't think he cared. He was happy to be part of us.
That's wonderful. You know, our chapters and our affiliate groups do such a great job of extending that Penn State experience far after your time as a student, and you do so many great things beyond Penn State football. Talk about what your chapters are involved in. I know some of you raise money for scholarships. We heard Carl talk about raising money for Thon. Nicole, what are your other initiatives?
We are, our group volunteers with Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee at least twice a year. We do a food sort there on site. And then every viewing party, we collect canned goods. We ask our members just pick up a few cans of food, bring them to the viewing parties. And in a season, we've collected over 400 pounds. And our biggest push is at the holiday party. We ask everyone to also donate as they come in. And then we're able to make donations of time and food to them. So that's another way we support our community.
Excellent. Jeremy, how about you? I know networking and scholarship fundraising is big with the AAAO chapters. Talk about AAAO DC and your other initiatives.
Thanks, Paul. So in 2018, AAAO organization-wide actually hosted the Black Alumni Reunion, where we tried to get as many Black alumni to come back to State College as possible. It was during the 2018 Black Alumni Reunion where we announced that we actually started the AAAO Endowment Fund, or the Emergency Fund, which provides financial resources to students who are going through unexpected hard times while they're trying to pursue higher education. So on top of our general scholarship, we've had an emergency fund that we have been actively contributing to. And it's kind of unfortunate because the Black Alumni Reunion takes place every 2 years. So our theme was going to be the Roaring 20s for 2020. We were going to go into the event with a 2020 vision, but COVID-19 kind of changed the landscape for all of us. So we've been promoting via our newsletter and our various social media channels to have our alumni contribute to the emergency fund so that we can still provide those services to our Black students who are going through financial hardships while trying to pursue education. On top of that, we actually are very active in mentoring as well. For example, I, along with several of our board members, have been active in the Fast Start Mentoring program for freshmen for years at this point. I think I started my senior year. So our goal is to always give back to the community and to kind of share our story so that we can inspire the next generation of Penn Staters.
That's wonderful. Anwar, before we came on, we were talking about how Penn Staters in Texas very soon are going to be able to show their Penn State pride on their ride. Talk a little bit about that.
So, way before me, past presidents like Sam and Jen, they've always wanted to build like a family culture. Like I said, a lot of people are not from Houston and they pass and go. So that was a big thing that, we were the only Big Ten school in the state of Texas that didn't have a Texas license plate. So all the other Big Ten schools had a Texas license plate. But we were fortunate enough to work together with all the Texas chapters all through Austin Central chapter, which is AKA Dallas. And we all collectively came together, and now we're going to have this on our plate by the end of the year. So you're actually looking at what a Texas license plate will look like this year. So if you are out in Texas, look out for a big email blast that's going to go out, and you'll be able to purchase that. And then another thing, obviously, about Hurricane Harvey, that sparked and showed how true, Penn Staters in Houston and all over, because we supported our members in that area very well. It was very, very, very hard, difficult time for some of our members, but we just try to support family within our members, and it doesn't matter what event that they want to see, like we're doing a virtual 5K for Thon, but we do a lot of things, network events. We do a lot of things to get where you're not from here, but you can come to the chapter and enjoy yourself and have a good time. So
Wonderful. Carl, how about in Central Ohio, other initiatives?
Well, one of the things that we're doing a lot of these days is raising money for our scholarship. It's been very lucrative and very beneficial to a lot of the local students here. We just had a virtual send-off. It's just the weirdest thing. We normally do like this big picnic barbecue sort of thing with families and everybody involved. And we had to do it completely virtually, which was just a really odd sort of sensation. But it was kind of nice because we bought everybody, all the incoming freshmen from our local Central Ohio region that were going. We got them all a $25 gift card, and we had, I think, 24 total, but we got them all a $25 gift card for the Penn State bookstore, because regardless of what location you were going to or what campus, you could always use it to buy some snacks or some cool swag gear. And then we actually have increased our amounts of our scholarship and actually expanded it from 1 student to 3. We're building a mentorship program very similar to that, where we do have some of our past winners and scholarship recipients who are reaching out and basically kind of doing the big brother, big sister thing. Where are the great pizza places to go to? Who has the best parties? The important stuff when you get to college. But now they're really kind of helping them quite a bit with the academic pursuit, as well as the socialization and the fact that, especially in quarantine times, this is a new and different experience for everybody. But for an incoming freshman, I can't even fathom the amount of anxiety that must create. So having somebody that they've known and talked to previously, and having that opportunity to know that they've got a friend nearby if they need one, is one of the big family-oriented things that we're really trying to push heavily. So
Just another great example of how we try to show others the power of the Penn State network. I want to thank the 4 of you for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for all you continue to do for Penn State. John Black, final question for you. We have another football letter coming out on Saturday. What do you plan on writing about?
Well, I think we're going to get a little bit of Penn State history seen through the football letter that was originated by Ridge Riley back in 1938, and find out how Penn State rose through the ranks from just a leader in the East to a perennial national power in football during his time. We're also going to look ahead towards next week's Thursday night show, when we're going to feature some leaders, former students who were played a leading role in establishing the S zone in the south end zone of Beaver Stadium at every home game, which is basically run by the Lion Ambassadors now. And we'll have one of our founding Lion Ambassadors, Lori Johnson, joining the program and giving us some insights about the history of that group. And so at any rate, we keep things going with all the various ways in which the Alumni Association and its affiliate groups and alumni still help to engage Penn Staters all around the country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, if you enjoyed tonight's show, you can keep the conversation going. Visit our social media channels. We are on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and tell us about your favorite road trip to a Penn State away game. Were you welcomed by a chapter? Go ahead and share your favorite road trip story to cheer on the Nittany Lions on our social media channels. Again, thanks everybody for joining us. Join us next week on Football Letter Live. As John said, we are going to be talking with former student leaders. Are you a member of the Penn State Alumni Association? If so, thank you for your support. If not, what are you waiting for? Go on our website right now at alumni.psu.edu/join today, and you too can become a member of the largest alumni association in the world. Again, thanks for joining us. Thank you to our guests for all you do for the university, for the glory, and for the future. We are
Penn State.
Penn State.